David, welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it once again. I'm just so tired and I just want to go away. And by the way, Sarah, did you know I'm a lawyer? It's an inside joke, guys. Miss Sarah Fraser. It's kind of like a fuck you inside joke. How are
Gorgeous.
you?
I'm so good. How are you, friend? I mean, you know what?
I didn't see you this weekend. We're both in LA.
Are you making us dinner reservations for this week? Because I spent not this
When do you
past
want to
weekend, but
go?
the weekend before, I spent like every day with you. We were at Sutton's, we were at Craig's. We clearly missed Craig's this week because Heather Dubrow and Terry were there, which we could have gotten exclusives ourselves.
Do
So
you see why we have to go to Polo Lounge and Craig's every night?
every
Literally.
night you got you. So this week and this weekend,
Come
my
on.
husband was out of town actually this
And
past
I
week.
would have said hi to Heather. I would have been like, you came on the show. Like we really could have talked to them actually if we were
Excuse
there.
me. We should have had dinner with them because you of all people, you like defend her. Like you rally for her. You ride for her so hard. She and Terry would have taken us to dinner. We would have had those Craig margaritas. Well, I would. I'm obsessed with
She's
my margs.
she's been good to me. She's
Yeah.
been good to me.
Well, what have you been up to? I mean, I know you've been so busy here. So have you just been so busy?
I
What have you
just want to have a mental breakdown. Listen, I looked at a lot of places. I know the building I want to live in, so there's progress. I really just have so much work to do. And I have to be honest, I got completely sucked into this article in interview by Lisa Rinna. It's like, look,
Rinna.
Rinna. Look, you
Rinna.
want to break your silence. And she chose interview, which look, I mean, there are bigger publications, but it's very respectable. You know what I mean? So this article I thought just went on and on. Not now. Here's the thing. Well, you never know with a podcast or an interview, right? Like I got the impression, this is just me. I'm not causing shit or shade. I got the impression, I mean, this person was obviously a huge fan of Rena's, right? Like, I'm not, listen,
Well,
he's a serious journalist, like whoever this is. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he obviously, the article is very Team Rinna. So you and I know how it works. I mean, I'm going to give an exclusive and I'm Lisa Rinna. I envision that this article somewhat went back and forth. Someone in Rinna's camp read it. I could just envision Lisa Rinna reading the entire thing and being like, here are the edits. Here's this. Here, this is how this is going out. That's not a knock. It's not a, it sounds like one, but you and I, we know how the business works, Sarah.
we do.
Did,
We know
didn't you
the
get the
biz.
didn't you get the impression? Look, I think it's I mean, if someone said, okay, Lisa, I'm going to give you an exclusive. I mean, okay, Sarah, I'm going to give you an exclusive. And here's what I want. I want to listen to the entire podcast episode before it goes out. I would say yes. If Lisa Rinna wanted to break this on Behind the Velvet Rope, I would have said, like, you can listen to the entire thing. Whatever you want edited out will come out 100%. Because I would have my own day in the spotlight. Like, it would be self-serving for me to have this. You see what I'm saying? It's not a knock. I just got the impression. I just feel that she read this whole thing before it went out and decided what was in and out. That's me.
Go
How
on,
do you
Mr.
feel?
Mr. Yontef. You seem like you're kind of on a kick with this. What other thoughts? What other you feel very strongly
That's
about this?
well, that's it. Just I just don't see Rinna saying like, sure, do whatever you want with this.
Well, wait a minute.
Like,
You don't think the setup, the start of this interview, he discloses basically they have this mutual friend. So
yeah,
this mutual friend, to your point, I think probably called Rinna, you can really trust this guy. You know, this is a great way for you to kind of put a little end mark on your story. I agree.
get it out, have it be in your words. I wish I had some ulterior motive in this. I don't even think it's negative. It's just that's how it works. I don't know. Maybe not. Oh my God, as my ring light falls over. Sorry. I don't know. Well, let's talk about the article.
Well, I mean, I'm loving hearing your rant. I mean, I've got lots of thoughts, but I enjoy, like, I love your intellectual take. And, you know, for all of our listeners, I mean, David and I have been in the business for so long. And, you know, I've worked in radio. I worked for iHeartRadio, like a huge radio publication. We would have stars on. I mean, there's almost always, like, this is behind the scenes, pulling back, you know, behind the velvet rope. Um, there's always a publicist that comes to you with a list of things you cannot ask. And then you get to decide, like, do you want to interview this person? David and I have had this happen a bazillion times. We do the interviews, a day or two later, the publicist calls, can you take this part out? Can you take that part out? And, quite honestly, if you don't do it, whoever they rep in the future, they're never going to put on your show again, right? So you're a little beholden to them, or
I burned a major bridge, Vanderpump Bridge. I'm not getting into specific details. Lala comes on my show. I burned a real big bridge, but I knew I was doing it
with Welcome to Plathville, because I ended up I have two. I ended up having on Max Kalschmidt. It's a long story, but he cheated on Mariah, one of the women on the show. And they were all, they all were big fans of mine. Welcome to Plathville people. They followed me. The minute I had him on, they unfollowed. They'll never do an interview on my show again. It's so the business, right? It's just so the business.
Yeah. I mean, I got like 12 edits and I'm like, bro, I'm not doing this. And it's a shame because the actual talent loved me. Like, again, like I've had Sheena will come on, Lala will come on, Lisa would come on. I didn't burn a bridge with the queen, but I burned another rep. And it's like, we're not dogs here. We're not dogs. I'm not saying yes to everything. But if someone said to me like before, if Elisa Rinna said, I'm going to look at this and listen before it goes out, I would have said yes. I would have done anything. So it's not a knock. I'm sure, listen, it's not all pro Rinna, but it was very heavy pro Rinna. And I like her. I'm not criticizing. I just get the impression this article went back and forth, but I thought it was a great article. Anything stick out to you in it?
There wasn't anything negative about Rinna. Yeah, what stuck out to me, a couple things stuck out to me, alluding to the fact that the Kathy Hilton incident in Aspen was probably covered up by people that, are on another level of influence.
What do you think she meant by that? Because we've all said that before, but she did say that in this, and just for everyone who hasn't read it, Rinna it talks about the future too, but as far as what happened, she's not backing down. She's like, this was an epic meltdown, way worse than any of you can even imagine. And when someone is literally, she implied it was a dangerous life situation, you don't think to pull out your phone. And that's why I don't have it on camera. And yes, that this was covered up. I mean, if this was Jersey, we would be thinking mob, right? Okay, that's a stereotype, but that's where our mind goes. What does she mean? That Kathy Hilton's powerful in Hollywood and lawyers and agents and just said to Bravo, we will ruin NBC and you can fuck with Lisa, you can fuck with Erika, you can fuck with Kyle, you don't fuck with the Hiltons. That's what she's implying.
Yes, 100%, right? Could be anything. I think it's more of I think it's who knows, right? This is,